back to the Cleats to Courts podcast. I'm one half of your host, Lucas Forstner. Joining me today is my co-host, Taylor Woelfel. What's up, T?
Not much, Lucas. Just want to start the podcast with a little RIP shout out to Don Nelson, one of the Bucks' greatest coaches to ever do it. Won five straight division championships back in the late '70s and early '80s, and two-time Coach of the Year. And he passed away this weekend at the age of 86. So sad day for the old-time Bucks fans that were around back then to watch him. But we always heard about him growing up, and the second winningest coach ever. So sad day for Bucks fans. And I got one little shout out to the Dodgers for losing seven straight the past week. So that's pretty exciting news in the baseball world. And like 1-8 in their last nine games. So go Dodgers. No. But anyways, how are you doing, Lucas? Ready for your run this weekend?
Doing great, man. That was quite the intro from Taylor today. Shout out Don Nelson, RIP, legendary coach and player. Also, awesome stuff here. Dodgers doing great with that big pickup here before the trade deadline. It's really
Yeah.
panning out for you guys. But
Hate to see him struggling, man.
yeah, it's a sad day when the Dodgers are struggling. Everybody in the baseball world so heartbroken by that. But how the Brewers doing? They still rocking?
Yeah, 5-2 last week and got like a four-game lead on the best record in baseball. So
That's what I'm
we're doing
talking
all
about.
right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a team right there. We don't need the big names. Anyway,
Yes.
we're gonna get
Yeah.
into some football talk. That's just a little bit about MLB, what's going on there, a little bit of sports world news going on. Got to touch on that stuff to get us going here. But today we're gonna be talking straight NFL football, mostly just the AFC. We're gonna give our playoff predictions coming up. We're gonna give also our divisional winners, who we think is gonna win, who's gonna come in second, third, fourth, all that stuff. So before actually we get on all that, we got to talk about the Hall of Fame game last week. First off,
Electric.
oh yeah, that was probably one of the best Hall of Fame games I've ever tuned into. The quarterback play, outstanding from both teams, which is really fun to watch. And also our bet hit as well, right? We hit Panthers -1.5, and then we also hit the over in points. That over was destroyed, which is awesome to see, but we did hit in our first bet this year, so we're pretty hyped about that. Our first public bet, and we hit it.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about. Probably not the smartest thing to be betting in preseason and betting in a Hall of Fame game, but when you win, you win. You're happy with it. What
Yeah.
are your takeaways here, Taylor, for the Hall of Fame game?
We might have a quarterback controversy in Arizona here coming up soon. Might be 4 or 5 weeks in a season if they're not winning any games and Jacoby Brissett is struggling a little bit. They might turn it to Carson Beck here pretty soon. He looked really good for the little over first half that he played. He was slinging the ball and his rating was somewhere around 130, but I know the quarterbacks combined had a 132 quarterback rating, which is super good. Like not many people do that. So that
Yeah,
was impressive to see. And then this past weekend there was a video of him in practice doing no look passes and stuff like that. So he's got a lot of momentum going right now. So
I did see that. That was an amazing pass.
yeah, that was nice. But other than that, nothing too crazy. I know your guy AJ Dillon looked good running the ball for Carolina, but what was your
Yeah.
major takeaway besides Carson Beck? 'Cause I stole that one from you.
I think Haynes King coming out of nowhere. I don't
Mm,
think anyone expected him to just come ball out in the preseason, especially like Hall of Fame game. You're not expecting a guy like that to come step in. ACC Player of the Year last year, which I don't think anybody remembers that happening. But after seeing him play, they're like, I can understand why he was that guy last year. Um,
yeah.
he's a little unorthodox with throwing the ball. You can see his mechanics are not quite there, obviously, for like a starting quarterback in the league, but physically, he's got the attributes. I think he could potentially be a backup for the Panthers here coming up, be a practice squad guy, and then um, maybe get himself into a QB battle later in his career would be pretty cool, or something down the road. But yeah, I think Haynes King, who's the big, he's kind of surprised me from that game. Carson Beck, I just felt like he was gonna play pretty well, and he did. Kenny Pickett looked decent as well. He's been a starter in this league before.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett. So, yeah, so it wasn't too surprised from the other quarterbacks, but yeah, Haynes King, that was the big one for me. Just not really getting any sort of looks after college, and then coming into this Hall of Fame game and showing out. Had the game-winning touchdown as well, which is really cool. But yeah, so that was my biggest takeaway. AJ Dillon can still run and pound that rock, so that was kind of fun to see that again as a
Mm.
Packer fan. But um,
Big boy.
yeah, he I know I don't remember if it was Collinsworth or Tarico, but they said the defense made a business decision on that touchdown run. They just kind of let him go in. They're like, I don't need a concussion in the Hall of Fame game. Just let this big boy get a yard, score a touchdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really fun to watch him play again. I think he only had like 3 runs right on that first drive or second drive, their touchdown drive. But yeah, that was really fun to watch. Other than that, just a really fun game. I think if all our Hall of Fame games can look like that, I think that'd be really fun to watch. I think more people would tune in as well.
Yeah. That may
But
be
yeah,
the preseason game of the year, to be honest, because that was just good football. Like,
yeah,
I don't think there was like one fumble, but there was like no interceptions or anything like that. So it
hmm
was just high quality. So it was fun to
yeah,
watch.
yeah. You don't see the offenses clicking like that right away, like especially with a bunch of backups in there. It was really
Yeah.
cool to see. And they did stall out right away. Like both teams got pinned deep on their own half, and it was like, this is going to be like a typical Hall of Fame game. But no, it actually turned out to be really good, and hoping the rest of them are like that. I can't guarantee that's going to happen the rest of the time, but I am a little worried for the Panthers. I saw a stat that said teams that win the Hall of Fame game end up not making the playoffs typically. I don't think it's like I don't know if it's undefeated. I think it's undefeated, but yeah, that was not good for the Panthers fans winning that game if that stat continues. But maybe they'll be the one team that gets into the playoffs this year. We'll see. But I
Hopefully.
know, but yeah, electric game. We don't really have too much else to say on it, but really fun game to start off the year. We'll get into some preseason games that are coming up this week as well, getting into our first week of preseason, which is always fun. But we'll talk about that towards the end of this episode. But we're going to get into our divisional picks. So our divisional picks, who we think is going to win for the AFC division. Sorry, we're going to pick who we think is going to win, and then who's going to come second, third, and fourth on those lists. And we're going to make our way to the AFC North. AFC North. We have a quick little graphic as well to show the odds in the AFC North. So right now, the Baltimore Ravens are picked to win the division. They have the best odds to win it all at plus 100. And then the Cincinnati Bengals are second at plus 170. And then it takes a bit of a jump here. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are third at plus 500. And then Cleveland Browns, sorry, but you guys are plus 2,000.
Mhm.
So it takes a pretty large jump there for fourth. You guys still don't have your quarterback figured out yet. So we don't quite know exactly what's going to happen with that. But other than that, Taylor, let's have you go first. You can pick and show who you decided is going to win this division, and then who you had ranking in the bottom.
I'm gonna go with the favorite right away, and I'm gonna take the Baltimore Ravens to win the division. I think they're just due for a bounce back year after the disappointing ending to the season last year. They got most of their guys back. They got some good rookies. The lineman that I can't pronounce his name that they drafted pretty early on, he's supposed to be a really good guard. That'll definitely help out the pass protection and running game for King Henry. Then they got those two young wide receivers, Jacoby Lane, yeah, Jacoby Lane and Elijah
Yep.
Surratt. So that will be some more targets for Lamar Jackson, and I think they're gonna be doing some good things this year with the new head coach as well. And then in second place, I'm gonna go with the one of the goats, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're gonna. Rodgers seems to be having some fun this offseason. I don't know if any of y'all watched the Pat McAfee show last week, but he just seems to be in a better headspace this year and just ready to just put it all on the line for his last year and just have some fun and go out with a bang, hopefully, and maybe sneak in as a wild card, which we'll have those predictions later on. And then three, it's going to be the Bengals. I think it's going to be pretty close between the Steelers and Bengals. I can see that being between the tiebreaker to maybe get a wild card spot and take second in the division. So I'm excited to see what they can do if they can stay healthy with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Those guys get beat up, and T. Higgins, they get beat up pretty often. They're not on the field a whole lot together, but when they are, it's pretty electric. And then if that defense can do anything of like compared to last year where they were 30th in points per game and just all their stats were pretty terrible on defense. So if they get any kind of improvement there, I could see them being pretty dangerous this year. And then in fourth place, of course, is the Cleveland Browns. But maybe they'll surprise us and get some good quarterback play. But not a whole lot else to say about the Browns besides that quarterback battle. But
Yeah,
that's my quick rundown of my AFC North predictions. And let's hear what your predictions are, Lucas.
yeah. My predictions are the exact same as Taylor's for this. Not going
Copycat.
with the, yes, yeah, real original over here. Just gonna go with the Ravens to win it. But I think the biggest thing about this division is that there's three new head coaches in this division as well. Just want to get that out there and mention that. So that makes
Oh
things a little
yeah.
more interesting. But most of these teams are returning a lot of the players that they had last year. So I think with that, I don't know if the head coaches make much of a difference with that. But yeah, so I'm going same as you. Ravens coming out ahead, winning this division, and then I have Steelers finishing second, and then I have the Bengals third, Browns fourth. I think with last year the Ravens ended up a field goal away from winning that division, getting to the playoffs. So I
Yeah.
think this year they take care of business, but I don't think the Steelers are going to be too far off of them. So I'm excited to see that kind of come down to it. And then same thing with the Bengals. They just have so many weapons on offense, but that defense we just really don't know. So it's hard to pick them one or two in this division. And then the Browns are the Browns. This is they're trying to figure out this QB. We'll see what they end up doing. Their defense is still pretty solid, even though they lost Miles Garrett. They have a lot of good pieces on that defense yet, but I think they just really got to figure out that QB, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later for their matchup coming up in this preseason game, and what their practices have been like with that battle. But yeah, that's my 1 through 4 as well. So we don't defer at all in this division. Anything you think, Taylor, that these teams, anything like surprising that these teams could flip those positions by any way?
I think one of my favorite additions in the division for like free agent wise would be Rico Deldo to the Pittsburgh Steelers, just because I think him and Jalen Warren will be really good together. Because Rico can be the in between tackle guy, just hand the ball off, and then Jalen Warren's more your pass catching back, and he's pretty electric when he gets the ball in his hands. So they just seem like a really good complement to each other, and I could see them gelling pretty well behind Rodgers, and we know how good he is at controlling the offense. So I could see them being in some good spots to succeed, and I'm excited to see what they can do there. But other than that,
Yeah,
nothing too crazy. It'll be interesting to see the Browns without Miles Garrett after his historic season last year and breaking the sack record. That'll be a pretty big difference there. But Jared Verse could come in and do a pretty good job, and they got some other good young guys from last year's rookie class to take a big step forward for them. But nothing else too crazy. And then Dexter Lawrence, obviously, with the Bengals. So those are the bigger additions or subtractions. But
yeah.
anything stand out for you to really look forward to in this division?
No, I think you hit it right there. As far as that, yeah, that Bengals defense, like Sexy Dexy, he's the only one that really stands out for that defense this year. Hopefully, he can be a difference maker on the team. But yeah, we'll see kind of what happens there. Um, I am interested to see how these young wide receivers for the Ravens do this year. I think is it Jacoby Lane? Yeah, Jacoby Lane,
Yeah.
Elijah Surratt. So just adding those two guys, they have Zay Flowers yet two on there who just became the highest paid wide receiver. Which we will get into that a little bit too as well. But
Hey.
yeah, so we'll see. So I do want to just pull that up. Here is our current most guaranteed money for a wide receiver all time. And number one, a name that none of you would probably suspect other until it just happened, is Zay Flowers. So right at number one. Second is big old JJ over in Minnesota. And we got Jamar, and then JSN and CD rounding off that top. But 108 million going to Zay, and then 88 million is the drop off down to JJ. Who's is it? Puka? Puka's coming up, right? To get
Yeah, he'll
paid.
probably be the every time that one of those studs gets an extension nowadays, they always seem to break the record for most guaranteed money or overall average and all that good stuff. So I think that's going to be happening real soon because I don't see how the Rams would want him to test free agency and possibly lose him. So we'll see what happens with that. But after we talked about last week, the guys with contract disputes and stuff like that, a
Hmm.
lot of the guys got paid after last week's podcast. So it was pretty
Yeah,
fun to see, which two of the running backs from the NFC, so we won't talk about them much today, but it was just fun to see all these guys getting paid this past week. So
yeah, yeah. It was really cool to see, especially for like it's just like one after another. One gets paid, next one gets paid. Now they're all back in training
yeah.
camp. All their nagging injuries are not happening anymore. They're back playing again.
Yeah,
Just weird.
when you get $108 million guaranteed, it can make a lot of things feel a lot better in a hurry. So
Yeah, I think all my pain would just go away in my body. I don't think I'd have any more pain if I had that kind of money
re-
just getting tossed in.
yeah, ready to practice again.
Yeah, I'd be full go running around head first into everybody, ready to
Yeah,
rock. But yeah, so we just want to
yeah,
quickly show that
yeah.
Puka going to be joining that list very soon. It's gonna be good for him. Good to see as well.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
mean, just one last thing from me from that division is that it's been one of the best divisions in football ever since we've been kids. It's always been the Ravens and Steelers for sure, and then some years the Bengals sneak in and make it a three-team race, and I think it's going to be the case again this year. Be
yeah.
good, aggressive, just bully football between those defenses and whatnot. So I'm excited to see how it pans out this year, like every year. It's one of my favorite divisions to watch football in. So
Hmm. Yeah, those like it's always fun to watch. Even though when the Browns are playing those teams, it's still an
yeah.
entertaining game to watch. It's like there's not many blowouts usually. It's just like a slugfest the entire time.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah,
Browns
so
can
that's
stink, but like they always end up beating Pittsburgh or Baltimore and Cleveland once a year. Like they always upset one of those teams. So you
yeah,
can never take it easy in a divisional matchup, and it's one of my favorite ones. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. That's why I wanted to start with the AFC North because it's just a fun team or like fun teams to talk about, fun division to talk about. So yeah, I think we could be spot on with our predictions, or one big injury happens, or a couple bad games happen, and that just swings the entire season. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it'd be exciting to go back and see if we were right on this or to see if these odds actually pan out to be true in the end. Just with that huge jump, like if I pop this up again, like that jump from the Bengals to the Steelers is very high, especially with Steelers adding more weapons on offense. They got Big Mike, who seemingly everywhere he goes, he just wins, even though it's his first year. He's a Pittsburgh guy, so I think his culture is getting set in there pretty quickly. And they have all their leaders back there as well. Like Cam Hayward, they got Aaron Rodgers, T.J. Watt, like all these guys that were leaders in the locker room last year are back this year. So I don't see how much changes with that. But seeing them at plus 500 is just kind of intriguing, especially putting the Bengals up there with them not making too many moves on defense, like not many like big moves. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see this year. But that'll be enough for our AFC North talk. We could probably sit here and talk about AFC North for quite a while. We'll get
yeah,
into our next league, our next division, which is the AFC South. And these odds to win, it goes Houston Texans as number one, plus 115. Jacksonville Jaguars, plus 220. Indianapolis Colts, plus 360. Tennessee Titans, plus 1,000. All right, so a little bit tighter than the last odds going through here. But what kind of stands out to you, Taylor? Before we get into who we picked to win, what kind of stands out on this list to you for these odds?
I'm pretty surprised to see the Jacksonville Jaguars so far behind the Texans. I mean, it's not terribly far, but 100 points, if you want to call it that, in odds is quite a bit. Like from plus 115 to plus 220 is a big difference for a team that just went 13-4 last year and seemingly didn't really lose anybody besides ETN, but they got Bashal Tutin. I can never say his name right, but they got him, and they're pretty high on him, and they think he could fill in as an RB1 like right away. So I don't think they're gonna get too much of a drop off in the running back production. So I'm just kind of surprised to see that. It just seems a little bit disrespectful to the Jags, which I mean, hand up, I did the same thing in my preseason power rankings where I didn't have the Jaguars in the top 10 either. But I
Yeah,
think
I think
they're a sneaky team with decent value there at plus 220 to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I think we both just kind of forgot about the Jags and how good they were last year because they surprised everybody last year too, get in the playoffs, but gave the Bills everything
When
they could handle in the playoffs.
I would say when
It's
you
a,
don't win a playoff game, I guess it's easy to forget about them. But
yeah, and it's just like we didn't. You don't think about the Jags as being a contender in the league. I haven't thought about that in a long, long time. So it was just strange to see them last year. But yeah, this year we're all forgetting about them. They still have quite a few weapons on offense. But let's let you go into your picks. Who do you have for first, second, third, fourth, running down this line here?
all right. First, so I have the Texans, which it just seems like a easy pick again. I know number one in the odds, but they got that dominant defense, and I don't think CJ Stroud can be too much worse than he was last year. And Nico Collins was hurt and stuff like that. And David Montgomery, I think that's going to be a good addition for them on offense. Can rely on him
Yeah.
to pound the rock a little bit, which I think they were missing last year. So they're my division pick to win it all. And then I have the Jaguars at number two. I'm gonna go right down the list of odds here. This is kind of sad, but it just seems right. And then number three, I have the Colts as well, with encouraging news hearing Daniel Jones is getting practicing already and getting close to full health. So I think he'll be ready to go right away, which is a good sign for the Colts. And maybe they can surprise some people with that plus 360 odds. And then the Titans at number four, which they're young and improving, but I think they still may be a year or two away from really threatening for anything in the division. So it'll be a fun young team to watch to see what kind of improvements Cam Ward can make. But I think they're definitely still destined for last place in the division. So what about you, Lucas? Did you copy me again or not?
We'll be a little bit different on
Nice.
this. Um, but for me, I went with the Texans, of course, being number one. I just with that defense, I think the Texans are going to be the best in that division yet. And then like they were just shutting teams down the entire year last year. So seeing them all come back, they're going to be tough to beat. And then, like you said, like Montgomery on offense is going to help. Tank Dell should be back this year too. He was a really promising young rookie until he had just a bad leg break. I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he broke his leg,
Yeah.
which is really sad to see. He was just having a really good year that year, and then he got injured again last year. I can't remember what happened last year, but he was out again. So hopefully he can get back to form again this year, like he was and he showed to everybody. As his fantasy football owner, I'm really hoping he can get back to form this year. It'd be great. But thought I struck gold in that dynasty draft. But here he is, 2 years later from playing. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see kind of what he is. Not a big Stroud fan, but if this team gets to where they need to be or want to be, he's going to have to really step up his game from last year. Last 2 years, really. Like his rookie year, amazing. Last 2 years, kind of meh. So if he can step up and feed these monsters that he has on offense, I think that team is really pretty dangerous in the AFC in general. Um, but at two, I have the Colts. I'm going with the Colts this year because Danny Dimes is back, coming off of his Achilles and fractured fibula or whatever it was, broken fibula they had last year. So having him healthy, when he was healthy last year, that team was the best team in the league. They're 8-2, just like running through teams, scoring a lot of points. They're really fun to watch. So I'm putting the Colts on there. If he stays healthy, JT stays healthy, I think they can be solid. I think um, most of their defense is back. I want to say this year, other than Franklin's coming over to the Packers this year, so they lose him. But I think the Colts this year, that offense, most of them are back. Losing Pittman's going to be a pretty big deal. But if they can get things going with JT again in that run game, Danny Dimes slinging that thing around, looking like an MVP again, like he was last year, I think they could fly up into that two spot and maybe compete for that division. But I don't see them just winning it outright. We'll kind of see what happens, but maybe they can surprise some people again this year. So then at number three, I have Jacksonville. I think there's not like much unknown. Like they bring back a lot of dudes. They have some studs in offense. Travis Hunter should be back. So yeah, I think the Jags could possibly do what they did last year. Schedule might be a little harder this year, but we'll just kind of see what happens. Like I think those two can flip flop there. But I also think those two could compete against the Texans if they get them once out of those two matchups that they have during the year. I think they could sneak up there, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, those three teams are really kind of intriguing this year because you don't really know what you're going to get out of them. So that'd be number 3 for me as the Jags, and then number 4 gonna have to be the Titans. We just new coach. We're very bad last year. Young QB. We'll see. Carnell Tate's looking pretty solid in training camp, so we'll see what he amounts to be. But yeah, there's so much unknown. We really don't know many players on this team either, so it's hard to pick them over any of these other teams who are established with their QB. They have weapons on offense. Their defenses are pretty solid, so it'd be tough to pick them over anybody else. But yeah, that's just my rundown. Texans 1, Jags at sorry, not Jags. Colts at 2, Jags at 3, and then Titans at 4. Over here looking at the odds instead. But yeah. Anything else that just kind of intrigues you about this division here, Taylor? I know we kind of explained each player's what their outlook is this year, but do you think the Jags could be for real this year? You think they could contend for this division again?
I think so for sure. But one funny thing, real quick, if you are correct on your placement in the division, your odds would be plus uh, 800, and mine's only plus 650. So you went with the better odds. So might have to take your bet on that one, and hopefully you're right. But anyways, that's a
Ooh,
fun little thing that I saw about picking the divisions correctly and stuff like that. But anyways, I
nice.
do think the Jaguars for sure can compete in that division because Brian Thomas Jr. he struggled last year quite a bit, especially after his explosive rookie year where he looked like possibly the next dude that's going to get paid here real soon. So I think he's
Mm-hmm.
due for a bounce back, and then I like the Tootin getting a better, bigger role in the offense. I think he's ready for it. And Trevor Lawrence, he just kind of seems to be getting better every year as well. So I think they'll be probably pretty close to the Texans. I think it's be another pretty good division race to watch between those two, and possibly the Colts sneaking in there with. That's speaking of guys that got paid. Jonathan Taylor, he didn't waste much time
Yeah.
capitalizing on the running backs getting paid last year. So he got a nice little 2 year extension with like 22 million a year guaranteed. So he's he's happy as well. So I'm excited to see
Mm-hmm.
him have a good full year and hopefully stay healthy because he's explosive and so much fun to watch. And being a former Badger, I got a special place in my heart for Jonathan Taylor. So I think it's
Of
going to be a
course.
fun division for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just excited to see what Montgomery can do in Houston too, because he's always been second fiddle kind of guy where he's been in his career. So it's going to be fun to see him as the main man, I believe, with Woody Marks being his backup. So I think they're going to be doing some good things in Houston.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be. I agree with all that. I think there's one thing with the Jags. There's one photo that came out that I think is the reason I think the Jags could compete in this division and possibly the conference, and that's look at Travis Hunter
Mm,
here. This guy is massive. In 1 year, this guy is just filled out. He's jacked. He's
been
be
in the
locking up
gym.
your team's number one wide receiver. He's gonna be all over the field. Hopefully they got him in some offensive packages too. Would be awesome. But yeah, just an insane transformation for a guy. This happens every once in a while, but like having your stud CB coming out and looking like that the next year in training camp is impressive, especially coming off an injury. So I think this is just crazy to see that. It just reminds me of like when you'd see Giannis, his transformation
Mhm.
year to year, and just how massive he is. But I know we just
It's a
keep
good
going on
comparison.
tangents about these massive dudes, but we got to talk about it. We're talking football, physical game. I think Travis Hunter plans on not getting injured this year by the looks of it. So we'll see kind of what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. One thing we got to talk about the Titans just a little bit. I got some good friends down here that are they're big Titans fans. They're one of the closest teams for Central Arkansas. I'm excited to see what Brian Daboll can do with Cam Ward because
Oh yeah.
everywhere he's gone, he's had some pretty good success with quarterbacks from Josh Allen to Daniel Jones recently. And he's the head coach there when the Giants actually won a playoff game. Or did they win? They at least made the playoffs this year. I can't remember. I think they might have won that game. So I think I
With
think
Dayball, I
this
think
is
they won against the Vikings
yeah, that's what I thought. I remember they won there.
a couple
So I
years ago.
think. I think Cam Ward's due for a good year too, and you mentioned Carnell Tate. That's a good weapon to have. So I think they're going to be looking better. Just still a couple years away, but I'm excited to see what Dayball can do with Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't have too much else to hit on in this division as we covered a lot there, but
Yeah.
I had to give a little love to the Titans there. So
Yeah. Yeah. I respect it. I respect it. You're welcome, Taylor's friends.
oh,
We're in Arkansas. Get a little
and that's
love.
one other guy got paid this week, and that was that guard Peter Skoronsky. He just got 4 year, $100 million deal and became the highest paid guard ever. So it's just every time these guys sign a deal nowadays, it's highest average or highest
I
guaranteed, and
know.
that's another one from this past week. So there's
It's
a
a lot
lot
of
of
money.
happy guys in the NFL this week. So
Oh yeah. So just so much money out there. It just keeps
yeah.
growing. The league keeps growing. Fan bases are growing in other countries now, which is really cool to see. But yeah, a lot of money out there for these teams to spend. Let's see. We are going to move on to the AFC East. AFC East. This one gets pretty interesting up at the top because we got New
Hmm.
England. Obviously, they had a dynasty. They just ran through this division for so many years when Brady and Belichick were there. But the last year, Patriots came, or not, sorry, but the last few years, the Bills, um, they have been kind of the team to beat in this league ever since Brady was gone. Josh Allen came in. Um, the Bills have really been the team to beat, and once again this year, you're seeing that they have the best odds to win. So Buffalo Bills are at minus 130. This is the first team that's hitting the minus for our odds to win their division. And then the Patriots are second at plus 130. And then there's a huge jump when we get down to the bottom two, which are the Jets coming in as the third best odds at plus 2,000. And then the Dolphins are at plus 4,000. So huge jump, huge jump. We're just going to get into who Taylor thinks is going to win this division, who he thinks is going to end up at 2, 3, 4 as well. Go ahead.
You start this division. I want to see if I copy you. You start this one.
You want me to start? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think starting off with number one, I believe the New England Patriots are going to come out on top of this division
Mm,
again. Um, so I do like their plus 130 odds to win this division. I think they get a slight advantage in this division, I think, over the Bills just because Bills, a little bit new culture this year. They still, like Joe Brady's still been a part of that team for a long time with Josh Allen. But I think they get a slight edge, especially to start the year. Um, and then they added some weapons this year, like AJ Brown. They got Dobbs on offense as well. Henderson, I think, is going to be a beast this year in his second year as well. Drake May could have been an NFL MVP last year, so I think he takes another jump this year as well. So I think with all those moves, I'm picking the Patriots to end up number one in this division, and then number two, obviously going to go with the Bills. This could easily flip flop, depending how the year goes with everything. But I think the Bills at two, they still can get into the playoffs. I think it's gonna be close. I don't think either one of these teams is just gonna run away at the division. So we'll be tight. Just need to see some things from the Bills to start this year. I know I had them ranked pretty low in my power rankings. Still top 10, but not as far up there as most people would. I know Taylor just hates that I just not high in the Bills this year. I do enjoy the Bills. I like watching the Bills play. I love Josh Allen. Watching him play is fun to watch. But I just think they're going to end up two once again. And I think maybe after this year, they get over that little hump and get to where they want to be. Maybe Joe Brady gets them going. But it's going to be a little bit late, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. And then at number three, I'm just kind of jumping past all these odds, not using these odds at all for my picks. I'm going with the Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins are going number three in this division. I cannot
mm.
trust the Jets. They didn't even get an interception last year on defense, so why would I try to pick them for the top three in this division? No idea. So they also got trade away to Sauce Gardner last year, their best cornerback. So if they wanted to get some interceptions this year, did not help their chances with that. But I like the Dolphins. I like Jeff Halfley. I think him stepping in there is going to be awesome to see. And then Malik Willis. I'm excited to see him play. Hope he balls out this year for them as well. But I think those matchups. I think the Dolphins playing the Jets. I could see the Dolphins winning those matchups with them. So that's why I have them at 3, and then Jets obviously 4. But yeah, I won't get too much into the Dolphins and Jets. I don't know how many people want to listen to those two teams who have very bad odds to win, even get to the playoffs, let alone win their
Is
division or anything like that. So we'll see.
is
See
your
what kind of
dad
happens with
is your
those.
dad still a Dolphins fan?
He is. What's up,
Nice.
pops? I know you've been sad with these Dolphins this last how many years. He's actually in Hawaii right now, so he's not listening to this.
Ooh,
He's enjoying his time. I'm sure he doesn't want to hear my takes on the Dolphins this year. But I do have
shout
some other
out
people.
Dale.
Big P. I know Pete Hoffmeister out there. Shout out, Dolphins fan. I'm sorry that you got to be put through all this misery, but he's also a Duke fan, so he's not a lot of misery going on for his fandom. But enough about the Dolphins. Enough about the Jets. Taylor, who did you pick for your top 4 here?
Quick fun fact: the Dolphins have the worst odds to make the playoffs in the AFC. So that's a bold pick by you not to pick them last in the division. So I like it though. Going out on a limb.
Who's who's the second worst odds in that?
The Jets.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's just a interesting division as Lucas went through all the odds already to see two pretty big favorites for even just the conference in general, and then the probably the worst two teams in the conference. So it's an interesting division. But my picks are kind of going with chalk here again, but it's just I don't even look at the odds before this, but it just kind of came out this way again. That
This guy
I'm gonna
just
go with the
he can't
Bills.
think for himself. That's all. He's just who's got the best odds. I'm gonna pick them.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
He doesn't have any hot takes on this.
But anyways, Lucas is gonna be wrong, so my picks will be right. But yeah, we're gonna go with the Bills number one just to win the division. They're just Josh Allen's so good, and I just don't see them losing that division again. With the DJ Moore addition, they're gonna do some good things on offense. And James Cook was one of the best running backs last year. And Kincaid, a good-looking young tight end, and then Joe Brady stepping in and changing the culture a little bit. And I think he's gonna do some good things. Just get some new energy in there. And I think they're going to take back the division from the Patriots, who I picked to be number two. And as Lucas said, they got that good new wide receiver duo there for Drake May to help him maybe get over the hump and win MVP this year. So it'll be fun to see what he does in year three. And if he gets even better from what he did last year, that'd be pretty amazing. But he's got such a beautiful deep ball. He's another fun one to watch. Patriots Bills matchup; those are must see TV for probably the next 5-10 years now with Allen versus Drake May. Those are going to be
Oh yeah.
a lot of fun to watch, especially this year with the Bills in that new stadium and trying to get back to being the division champions. And number three, went with the Jets because I'm not going to hate on Geno Smith coming back home to New York. It's a big pickup for the Jets this year, getting Geno Smith to come back there.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But
But yeah, yeah, they got Garrett Wilson. They drafted that Cooper. I can't remember his first name right now. Omar Cooper, maybe from Indiana at the end of the first
yeah.
round, and they got
Yep.
Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon, a young athletic tight end. And they got David Bailey early in the draft as well. So they got three first round picks coming in. So some good young talent. And I think they can't be much worse than last year. And as you said, no interceptions. So, and Aaron Glenn being the defensive guy he is, it's got to get a little bit better. So I think they're ready for that tiny little bit of improvement, and they could still be bad and maybe get Arch Manning next year and look forward to the future. But we'll save that for a later podcast as well. But then we go with the Dolphins finishing last. They lost a lot of talent, and then they didn't really do a whole lot in free agency to be aggressive. And then no Tyreek Hill this year, no Jalen Waddles. They don't really have any proven pass catchers. And I don't even know who their starting tight end would be. So they got Devon Achan, and that's about it on offense, which is it's a pretty electric option to have Achan. And I think he's
Is
due for a big year for sure. But what were you gonna say?
is Waller still there? Darren Waller,
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to
tight
look
end.
that real quick.
I know he just kind of
But
came out of retirement to come play with them last year, but
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he resigned or not. But yeah, then I think it's gonna be fun watching Malik Willis getting his opportunity to be the starter. And it's
yeah.
not it's Greg Dolchich came there from Denver, I
Oh,
believe.
really?
So I don't know where Waller ended up at. Maybe he went back to retirement.
He's like, you know what? This
But
team's not very good. Not coming back here.
yeah, I think with Malik running maybe some little options with Achan, it could be somewhat of an interesting run game to watch and maybe something to look forward for Dolphins fans. But other than that, I can't think of anything too
Yeah.
hopeful for y'all. And I mean, it's always kind of fun to watch some young guys get a chance to place, and maybe you'll be surprised by their. They drafted, I think, at least two wide receivers, if not three. So a lot of new guys getting a chance to make an impact down there, and they're a team that's set up for the future as well. They made some moves to get future draft picks, so they're not trying to win a whole lot this year. But I'm excited for Halfley to be the man down there and see what he can do with the defense and just a good culture guy. So maybe they'll have some promising things to look forward to. But I think this year's going to be a little rough down there in Miami, so that's why I picked them to be last. And if we look at our predictions again, Lucas has better odds, of course, because I just go with chalk, so not too
Yeah.
exciting. But my picks would be plus 265, which seems pretty low, which is kind of crazy for picking all the exact placements. But that's what happens when you have two heavy favorites and two teams that are not going to finish first or second. It doesn't help your odds very much. And Lucas's would be you would plus 550, so about 300 points better than mine. So look at you going out on a limb there.
Yeah, I'm hitting that. I'm hitting that. As soon as we get off this, I'm hitting that bet. Oh, these odds are all
Well,
from.
enjoy the loss. So
Yeah, I'm pretty good at losing bets too. So if you guys want to win bets, probably listen to Taylor. Don't go for them high odds that I'm always going for. But you gotta shoot your shot. So
yeah,
I am. I do want to mention these odds are all from FanDuel. DraftKings will have a little bit different ones. Just kind of depends where you make your bets. ESPN bets I don't go on, so I'm not sure what those are on. But DraftKings is probably pretty similar to ESPN bet. So we'll see. But yeah, all these are from FanDuel. I will say I probably pretty high on the Dolphins just because of Jeff Halfley being there and Malik Willis. I'm just hoping that those guys can just get some success down there. It's not going to be a ton. Like you said, there's not many good players on that team around them. So we'll see kind of what happens. But I'm excited to kind of watch some of their games, see how they do this year, how they can adjust to things. And then Jets, shout out Braylon Allen. I'm apologizing because
yeah.
I'm sorry. I think your Jets are going to be very bad again this year, but you're a monster, so I hope you do well. But other than that, they also did my boy A Rod a disservice there. A little did him dirty, but we'll move on. We'll stop talking Jets and Dolphins here. We're gonna get into
You kind of answered my question. I was going to ask you, like, what first your head coach you're looking forward to seeing more is Brady or Halfley, but you already mentioned how much you're excited to see Halfley, and that's probably just because
oh, yeah,
we got to watch in the last couple of years in Green Bay and have a good, fun defense with good culture and whatnot. So I would agree with that as well. But
yeah,
Joe Brady will be interesting to see too, and I think both of them are going to be good coaches for a while.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I think they're both gonna be there for. I don't want to say like long term, but I think they're gonna be there for at least a few years here to try to turn things around. Brady, I think. I mean, he comes into a better situation, but I think
Yeah.
he's just like he's got to get them over the hump. He's got to get them to a like AFC championship game or bust really for them, especially with Josh Allen at the helm. So
A lot
we'll
more
see what they
pressure
do.
early on for sure. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Like Halfley, he's gonna have a lot more time to get some solid players around and then get some success. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be just establish the culture this year for the Dolphins and hopefully build off of it. Hopefully they make some moves for that team this year because they need some new players in there. I know that there's a lot of young guys in there. We'll see what happens, but definitely got to get some new guys in there. But
They
we're gonna
signed
move on
Tutu
to
Atwell, so that's exciting.
here you go. Get yourself a wide receiver 3, possibly going to be your wide receiver 1. We'll see.
Yeah,
But
fast. Mhm.
just they're trying to be all speed, which that could be fun to watch. Playing in the warm weather,
Yeah.
you guys could play fast pretty much all year round. It'd be fun to see. And lastly, we're going to get into the NFC West.
AFC West.
So, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. AFC West. NFC will be next week. Our AFC West odds. This one gets a little interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Chiefs coming in at number one, best odds. This gets really tight up at the top. These top three are pretty tight, but the Chiefs, the sports books think the Chiefs are going to come back and get up on top of this division again. They're at plus 175. The Chargers are at plus 190, coming in second. And the team that won the division last year got to the AFC Championship game, probably with a healthy quarterback in the end, probably could have been in the Super Bowl last year, competing for a Super Bowl. That's the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos come in at plus 210. So they have them at the third best odds to win the division that they won last year, returning their defense, adding weapons on offense, getting their quarterback back in his third year. It's just strange. Strange to us. We'll get into it a little bit more as we get closer here. But and then we have the Raiders coming in at plus 1,500. So it's going to be quite a spread for the Raiders there. Maybe Kirk Cousins, Kirk O'Chains, maybe he'll get the team running, get them up there. Well, we'll see. You want me to go first on this, Taylor?
Yeah, might as well. We'll go 2-2 that way.
Yeah, that sounds good. So for me, I am not trusting the sports books on this right now. I'm not trusting the Chiefs to come out on top of this division. I'm going with the Broncos. I think they repeat. I think they got Waddle on offense now as well. They got Courtland Sutton as well on offense. So like those two guys on both ends of the field, I think can be huge for them. Nick's coming back. He broke his ankle? Is that what happened?
Maybe technically fractured, but all the
Or
same.
fractured?
Yeah.
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 But he'll be back ready to go as well. He had a really solid year last year. It was pretty exciting to watch as well. That defense was just suffocating last year, so bringing most of those guys back, I don't see why this team can't repeat. So I have the Broncos at number one. Number two, this is where we mix it up even more again. So it's going to be, I got the Chiefs coming in at number two. I'm a little worried about weapons on offense. I don't know if Kelsey can still produce how he used to in his prime. And then Kenneth Walker, I think they're going to try to ride him quite a bit, especially starting out this year with Mahomes still coming back from that ACL. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of happens there. And then at number three, I have the Chargers. I got the Chargers coming in at number three. I don't know what they all added offensively, to be honest with you, but defensively, I think they'll still be pretty solid. But yeah, like I don't know how the Chargers win this division, so I'm really thinking they're going to be number three this year. Herbert, we don't know what Justin Herbert's doing in training camp. He's got his girl there. They're smooching on the sidelines. We don't know what's going on with Herbert. Does this guy want to play football or not? All right. That's not me
I
talking.
mean,
That's
I I can't blame him, but
yeah. This guy. What's this guy doing over here? We're trying to play. We're trying to win football games. This guy's over here smooching with his girl in front of everybody. He don't care. He's not focused on ball. We gotta be focused on ball.
that's funny. He's
Goodness.
got another month to get ready for it, so he's got to focus on the new fiance first. Can't blame him.
True. True. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them Chargers. I can't believe Harbaugh's letting this happen. Man, this guy's gotta be locked in on ball. I don't know what he's doing, but he'll get it figured out. But yeah, I got the Chargers anyway at number three. And then coming in at number four, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. Not much to say about them. We'll see what they can do. I think their defense will be pretty solid this year. I think they'll give people some fits, which will be kind of fun to watch. Offensively, we'll see. Genty's still there. If Cousins can sling that rock like he could a couple years ago, we'll see what happens there. But that'll be an interesting team to follow this year. I know I got some bets futured up for them. But yeah, that's my 1 through 4. I got the Broncos coming in at number one, the Chiefs coming in at number two, Chargers at three, and the Raiders at four. But I'm going to let Taylor go into his, see where we defer on this. Go ahead, Taylor.
Maybe a bit surprising, but I did not follow the chalk this time. So I went with the Broncos to win the division. So picked the third best odds to win the division. It's kind of crazy for me uh, after how the first three divisions went. But I'm with you. I don't know how the Broncos are third to win the division. I know their schedule may be a little bit hard, but it's hard every year in the NFL. And they're just so good on defense. They got two of the better guys with Nick Bonito and Pat Surtain on defense. That's a crazy 1-2 combo off for that side of the ball. And then you got two good running backs, two good receivers that you mentioned, and Bo Nix going into year three. So I think he's due for a solid season for sure. And I just like that a lot at plus 210 for them to win the division. And for second place, I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Mike McDaniel is going to be a big impact there for the run game, for everything on offense. He's just a fun coordinator to watch him scheme up his guys and use that speed of Keaton Mitchell and Vidal and Omari and Hampton in the backfield. That's three good running backs, and McDaniel loves using running backs. So I'm excited to see what he can do there. And Herbert's good. He just is always he's good, and then he has those bad weeks. So he's just got to get that good consistency down and just really perform all year long. If he's not too distracted on the sideline, as as Lucas mentioned. But I definitely have them as my second favorite team, or my second place team in that division, because I just can't pick the Chiefs. Like it's anti-Chiefs down here in the South. There's too many Chiefs fans in Arkansas, and I'm just sick of hearing about them. But I'm gonna hear about them for the next decade because Pat's not leaving anytime soon, and as long as he's there, they'll probably be favorites to win the division every year, no matter how bad they looked the year before or how little they do to help the offense in the offseason besides Kenneth Walker. Still have the same weapons. Can Rasheed Rice even stay on the field? That's a question every year, and I just don't understand how they're favored to win the division. But that's what do I know? I'm just Taylor, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm just
But but we'd love to see the Chiefs struggle again. So that's why I picked them to be third place. But anyways, that's my Chiefs rant for the day. And then fourth place would be the Raiders. So, as we know, the Raiders they were a little rough last year when they got that first overall pick with Mendoza, and they brought Kirk Cousins in. So the quarterback play should be a little bit better for sure with no more Geno Smith there. And yeah, Kirk seems fired up. He's fighting with Max Crosby in training camp. So I wish there was video of that. I did not see video of that. So
yeah.
that's
Why?
unfortunate. But
Where's the social media team? We need to see Kirk and Crosby just going at it,
yeah,
swinging helmets at each other.
yeah, it's a
Nothing.
pretty
I'm
wild
sure.
sounding fight.
I'm sure there was no cameras visible out there. Nobody pulled out their phone to capture that for us. Wild, just wild.
But yeah, Kirk seemed fired up, so we'll see what Kirk can do and see how long he keeps that starting job. So maybe they'll be a little bit better than last year, but I don't see the playoffs in their future, and they were the third worst odds to make the playoffs in the AFC, right ahead of the Jets and the Dolphins. And as I did the last couple divisions, if you follow my bet, it would be plus 800, and Lucas has the lower odds of plus 750 this time. So look at me going out on a limb, taking the bigger odds,
It's
and I'll
about
be
time.
right again. So
About time.
we'll see how the year ends up. But I like my picks there. But
Nice.
anything major you want to point out in this division, real quick, Lucas?
Let's see. I'm just looking at this. I think the Raiders odds could be a little bit better on
So
this.
you're a big Raiders fan this year, huh?
I'm big on the Raiders. I don't know why. I think it's just like the pieces that they brought in. Like we talked about all the guys that they brought in the offseason. They
Yeah,
keep
that's
Crosby
true.
as well. And then I think you got a veteran quarterback there who's now 2 years removed from that Achilles. So I think he's going to look a lot better this year too. Um, Genty, I think he could have a breakout season as well over there. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think they can make a little run this year. This is a tough division for them to win a lot of games in, but I think with the rest of their schedule, they could compete with those other teams that they're going to have on their schedule. But yeah, I think I'm pretty high on the Raiders this year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's tough to have to play those three teams twice a year. Like that's hard.
yeah.
But we'll see what Mike McDonald can do in his first year as a head coach. That'll be interesting to keep an eye out for.
Hmm. Cool. Well, with that being said, that is it for the AFC West. Don't have too much to chat about with that. We'll see if the Chiefs are still the Chiefs this year, but we have the Chargers and Broncos looming right there. We'll see if the Chargers can finally break through. One quick thing I want to mention actually I'm seeing a lot of talk about like Justin Herbert and Jordan Love are getting like compared. Like they have their stats are very similar, just eerily similar. But Jordan Love's getting a lot of flack for not winning in the playoffs. But he's been getting to the playoffs every year. Herbert
He's got one win.
and got one, right? But there's a lot of flack for like Jordan Love should be getting to Super Bowls and winning all these games
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's not the same story over there for the Chargers. Like Herbert, he just there's excuse after excuse for him. Like other things going on. Everyone's like, the coaching's not good. His players around him aren't very good, and just kind of throwing out those,
Injuries.
yeah, and just like throwing out those excuses for him. Like the Packers have had injuries on that team every year that Love's been there. Sometimes it has been Jordan Love that's been injured, still putting up the same stats, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there because if we're gonna talk down on one guy, let's make sure we're doing it to everybody if we're gonna do that. So, but we could also just be uplifting these guys instead, right? Actually, you
That
don't need
doesn't get
excuses.
clicks. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Can't be nice and positive all the time. It'd be stupid. But
That's funny.
anyway, I just want to throw that out there. We'll be talking Packers. We'll be talking NFC in the next episode, so that'll be kind of fun to get into. Other than that, I'm looking forward to this division. This is gonna be a fight in this one, which would be kind of fun to see. The Chiefs has just been
Yeah.
rolling through these guys the last how many years, so it'd be fun to watch them compete against them.
One last quick thing will be the Chiefs with their pretty new looking defense with losing both their cornerbacks and or two defensive backs, and they're both from the Rams now, so they're gonna have some new pieces back there. With that man Sword Delane was one of their first round picks. He's supposed to be a pretty good cornerback when he gets fully right and healthy. I believe he blew out his knee last year with the ACL, so that made him fall a little bit in the draft. But the Chiefs scooped him up and hoping he can be a guy for them. But it'll be interesting to see that the defense when you get a bunch of changes. So hopefully they suck, but we'll see what happens. So
Yeah, not big Chiefs fans over here, if you can tell. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for this division as well. With that being said, which one of these divisions are you excited about the most? Let's say other than AFC North, we kind of mentioned that you and I both really like watching that division, following that division every year. But this year, is there any like division that kind of stands out that you're like, hey, I might actually tune in and watch more of these games in this division?
well, me being the football fanatic that I am, I'll watch any football game. But I
Watch
think
any?
my my favorite games for the AFC will definitely be the Patriots and Bills. As I said, that's must watch TV, especially with how good the Patriots were last year, kind of out of nowhere. And we'll see if they can do it again this year. And then Josh
Yeah,
Allen, he's always must watch when he's on TV. And then my other one that I'm really looking forward to is the Broncos and Chiefs. Just so hopefully the Broncos can continue looking good and put the Chiefs in third place in the division like I predicted. But those are always fun, aggressive, physical matchups with both them always having pretty solid defenses and good quarterback play now and good head coaches with Sean Payton and Andy Reid going way back in the day, been around for a long time. Those would be good matchups for sure to watch. But those are my two, huh? What about you?
yeah. I mean, I talked up the Dolphins quite a bit, but I don't know how fun the Dolphins are going to be to watch this year. But I'm going to be intrigued for the first few games to see how they're matching up with teams. Um, other than that, I'd say like this AFC South is actually interesting to me because are the Colts going to be what they were last year? Are the Jags going to do what they did last year? Is that Texans defense going to be as stout as they were last year? So there's a lot of questions for those teams. There's also a lot of hopes for those teams to be successful this year again. So I think that'll be interesting. And then like the Titans are just kind of interesting because can Salah just kind of focus on the defense and get those boys buzzing? Like with the Jets, they were a pretty solid defense still with him up there when he was head coach. So if he can have this Titans defense kind of flying around and doing like what a Robert Salah defense does and looks like, I think they could be interesting to watch. And be exciting to see Cam Ward take a jump as well this second year. But that's just an interesting league. So I could see those top three teams. I could see any of those three winning this division. So I'll probably tune into more of those this year. Other than that, Yeah, go ahead.
Do, do you think any team has a chance to go from worst to first in the division? And the teams that finished last year were the Jets, Browns, Titans, and Raiders. So, any hot takes there? Any bold predictions?
I don't think I could take any of those teams to do a complete 180
Uh,
and
you,
take the top, but
I
you know,
thought you maybe picked the Raiders there,
yeah, I
but
was hype. I've been hyping up the Raiders. We'll see. Maybe they can make a jump, but then you look at the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs coming back with Mahomes this year, so we'll see. I think some
yeah.
of those teams maybe fight for third, but I couldn't see them getting up there. Like if I could see like the
If
Colts dropping and the Titans slide up to third or something like that, but
If if you made me pick one, I would probably say the Browns, just because they're unknown at quarterback. But if Deshaun
yeah,
Watson looks somewhat of a decent quarterback, then maybe their defense balls out, and he's got some decent weapons around him with that Sampson and Judkins and the running backs, and then Harold Fannin tight end, and some Denzel Boston. I think they drafted him, and Jerry Judy. Like it, I mean, I'm not betting that. I would never pick that. But if you made me pick one, that would probably be the one I would go with.
yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting what the Browns look like this year, and we're gonna get into their QB battle a little bit more too in a little bit, but yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Just going with them to I don't know about winning that division, but they're going to compete with those teams for sure. I
Yeah.
think as long as they can solidify the QB position, and then there's weapons around the QB as well on offense. So we'll kind of see what happens. But other than that, we are about to get into our playoff pictures. Each one of us has come up with our playoff pictures. Obviously, if you're following along, our divisional winners will be those top four teams in the playoffs. But then to see who we think is going to slide in there and make it a close race and get into those wild card positions, and then who we are leaving out, who we think is just going to miss the playoffs. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly go through and show our conference odds for the entire AFC. So who has the best odds to come out on top of this conference, and then um, who has the worst odds. And there's a couple teams not even on this graphic because they're so low. I'll have Taylor tell you who those teams are, what their odds are at the bottom of this.
When
But
we talked about the AFC East, y'all heard us talk about the Jets and the Dolphins having the worst odds to make the playoffs. So that would,
mhm,
in fact, leave them as the last two teams not even on the graphic for AFC Championship winners, which they were like plus 1,500 or 15,000, something like that. So those two teams are way down there. So if you want to take those, go for it, but we do not recommend that. But
yeah, that'd be definitely 15,000 because right now at the bottom, the Cleveland Browns are
okay,
on the
yeah,
bottom of this at
yeah,
plus looks like 10,000 plus 10,000. So
yeah.
if you want to put $5 on the Browns to win AFC Championship, feel free. Could be a big winner, but you
Go
could
go to
also be
Sean
just
Watson.
throwing, yeah, you just be throwing away that money. So you do you. I'm not gonna tell you how to bet. Bet responsibly, but I'm not gonna tell you how to bet
Do
unless
you
you
have
want
a favorite pick for the AFC Championship winner, or you want to save that for a future podcast?
my favorite pick. Why are they gonna win?
Yeah.
It'd be my playoff picture. You'll see. You'll see.
Oh, okay,
It'll
okay. With
probably
the one
change.
seeding.
It'll
Yeah,
change
okay.
in a couple weeks probably, but you
All
know.
right.
But I'm just gonna quickly run down this list. The best odds to win the AFC Championship are the Buffalo Bills at plus 500, and then we have the Ravens plus 550. So that's very tight at the top. And it goes Texans, Chiefs, Patriots, Chargers, Bengals, Broncos, Jags, Colts, Steelers, Titans, Raiders, Browns, and it goes Jets, Dolphins at the end. Is that what it was? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think one big thing that stands out to me is the Broncos just in the FC Championship game last year. What are they on this list? Two, four, they're eighth right now. Eighth best odds
Crazy.
to win this AFC Championship. That is kind of absurd after pretty much returning the entire team and getting some more weapons on offense. So, like, how do they have the eighth best odds? How do the Bengals jump them from what they did last year till now? How do the Chargers jump them? I mean, the Chiefs I
Yep.
understand because they're the Chiefs, but what's your take on that, Taylor? Why do you think they dropped down so low?
I honestly don't really know. I mean, I usually think Vegas is pretty smart, but this one is a little questionable. So, yeah. And I'm looking at the strength of schedule, and it's pretty close between the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers, just because that division is pretty good. So when you play
Hmm.
those other two teams that I mentioned twice a year, it's going to make your strength of schedule pretty hard. But yeah, like they're right there with each other in the strength of schedule. So I'm really not sure. I just think Vegas likes the Chiefs too much, and I will continue to not like the Chiefs that much. So I just, yeah, I really don't get it. The Bengals one is the most baffling. I really don't
Yeah,
understand that one.
yeah,
But the other ones I could maybe see the reason, but definitely not with the Bengals. So a
yeah.
little
I have no idea.
preview. I'm definitely gonna go with the Broncos to win the AFC at plus 1,000. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, looking at those, that's definitely the best odds. We're gonna get into our futures right before the season as well. Probably just make one
Yeah.
episode on futures and bets that we're excited for and looking forward to. Why we think those are gonna happen, but yeah, I think the Broncos are the hit here. Like that's a
Yeah.
pretty. I don't want to call it safe, but that's just a good bet to throw down for this for the best odds. Um, Otherwise,
Yeah.
you can pick one of those top
The
teams. But
the Broncos are 11th in strength of schedule, and the Chiefs are 12th. So they're literally right there with each other. So
yeah,
that can't be the reasoning. So
yeah, we have no idea. Maybe we're going to become a Chiefs hate podcast. We'll see. We'll see what happens. See how the year plays out. But yeah, it's be interesting. Interesting with these odds. Just looking at these, makes sense. Those top three at the top there: the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, all playoff teams last year. All teams that I'm sorry, the Ravens were not last year. Um, but bringing back everybody, Ravens are healthy
they're
this
really
year.
close. They're really
Yeah,
close.
very close. I think the Ravens, like a Ravens Texans playoff matchup, would have been really fun last year. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think maybe we'll get that this year. That'd be sweet to see. But yeah, just looking at those, it just makes sense why those teams are at the top. Patriots at 5, that makes sense. The Chargers are a little suspect being that high, in my opinion, but yeah, the big one is just the Broncos. Like we don't know why the Broncos are down so far, and I'm not even a big Broncos fan. I just think that's a really good football team. So I'm just surprised to see them that far down. But and they were
Yeah.
our picks to win that division, and there's two teams in their division above them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in this. Anything else to add to this championship odds here, Taylor?
Not really. You broke it down pretty good there. And yeah, all the stuff we said earlier when we broke down each division applies to these teams too in the grand scheme of
Mm-hmm.
things. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think we're good to go with that.
cool. Yeah, we just wanted to throw this up there, give a nice visual to see kind of where these teams actually end up in the grand scheme of things, not just their division. But
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, if they win their division, they get in. So that's why we kind of put more focus on just winning that division, trying to get in. But there's their odds to win the entire thing. We're going to get into our playoff pictures now. Some of these teams will be kind of obvious, but these are also kind of where we put them record wise, where we think they were going to end up amongst everybody. So you want to do mine or yours first, see?
Let me go first. Why not?
Alrighty. We are going to pop up Taylor's playoff predictions. Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah, that looks beautiful, man. Those are really good predictions. But
All right, Taylor, you want to
let's just start
explain?
off. Yeah,
Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I didn't
Go.
cut you off.
All you.
But first off, we'll go with the Broncos getting the number one seed again this year. Maybe that's why Vegas doesn't like them so much this year, because it is hard to be the number one team back to back years. But I think if any team can do it, it would be the Broncos with all the talent they have on both sides of the ball. And then two, we go with the Bills, three, Ravens, four, Texans. And then my wild card teams would be the Patriots at five, the Chargers at six, and the Steelers at seven. And my two just missed bubble teams would be the Chiefs and the Bengals. So I think those teams have a little bit too many question marks for me right now at this point in the year with the defensive side of the ball. I think both offenses are going to be all right, but the defenses worry me there. So that's why I have those as my bubble teams. What do you got for your playoff picture, Lucas?
For my playoff picture, I have the number one seed being the New England Patriots. And then at number 2, I have the Ravens. At 3, I have the Texans. At 4, I have the Broncos. At 5, starting out our wild card is the Bills. And then I have 6, the Steelers. And then 7, sneaking in, are the Chiefs. And my two teams that are just missing the playoffs, I have the Chargers and the Bengals, two teams that I chose as coming in at third for their divisions. So just a quick breakdown, kind of why I chose all this. I think the Patriots can get a lot of wins this year again. I think they're just going to kind of feed off the momentum and just like that frustration of getting to the Super Bowl and losing. So I think they come out hot. They're coming out firing. And then Ravens, I think they can really get a lot of wins from not just their division, but just overall, just not quite having as tough a schedule. There are some teams on there that are tough, but I think they can kind of prevail this year. Last year, they were losing to a lot of those teams. And then the Texans at 3, Broncos at 4. These are pretty interchangeable up in here, but I think just those divisions, like the Texans for sure, I think they can win a lot of games in their divisions. The Broncos are going to be competing a lot, but that defense, I think they're um, just kind of hold their own against all those really good teams, and then just got to go out and win. So Bills, Steelers, and Chiefs coming at the end. I think the Bills, they're going to be very close to the Patriots, trying to win that division, but just not getting quite enough wins against these other teams. And then Steelers, Chiefs, I think they're just going to sneak into the playoffs this year, finishing up second in their divisions. But yeah, I think we're going to see, as much as Taylor does not want to see it, I think the Chiefs are going to fight their way back and get in. Not too many people high on the Chiefs right now to sneak into these playoffs or get into the playoffs, so we'll see. That's just people
I'm
talking.
a, I'm gonna validate your point real quick about the Ravens having an easy schedule. According to the Sharp Football Analytics, the Ravens have the fifth easiest schedule in football, but the
Mm-hmm.
Bengals have the second easiest schedule. So that's helped me pick them to be my bubble team as well.
Nice.
But anyways,
So yeah,
love looking at the strength of the schedule. It's fun to look at that.
see, I knew that, so that's why I had the Ravens at 2.
I
Just
like
off
it.
the top of my head, just knowing they didn't finish up as well as they would have liked to last year. Probably not going to be as tough a schedule this year, but yeah, stats are just fun to look at and get you excited for the upcoming season, especially when your team has a pretty weak schedule. You gotta look forward to
Yeah.
that. But yeah, so that just wraps up our playoff predictions. So once again, Taylor has number 1 seed the Broncos, 2 the Bills, Ravens 3, Texans 4, Patriots 5, Chargers 6, Steelers 7, and then he has the Chiefs Bengals missing out this year yet again. For myself, I have the Patriots at 1, Ravens at 2, Texans at 3, Broncos at 4, Bills at 5, Steelers at 6, Chiefs at 7, and I have the Chargers and Bengals just missing out. So those are our playoff predictions. We've gone through the odds for all these teams, but that's just overall our breakdown of the AFC conference this year. So
AFC's pretty wide open this year, so it's gonna be a fun conference to watch. Be
yeah,
some good matchups.
yeah, just looking at all those teams on that list for the AFC, there's quite a few that you could easily see just getting into the playoffs. Like there's like that top half, you can see all those teams getting into the playoffs, and then you can see a lot of those teams just getting a top 4 seed, like winning their division, being a top 4 seed, getting to the AFC Championship. Um, there's just a few teams at the bottom that no one really expects to get in, which would be Dolphins, Jets, the Browns,
And the
Titans, Raiders. Like
Raiders.
yeah, so but the rest of these
Yeah,
teams,
there's pretty much like 12 teams going for the seven playoff spots. So
yeah,
that's gonna be some good drama and good football to watch.
yeah, yeah, I agree. So it'll be interesting. It's pretty wide open. There's no clear cut favorite. Like in the past, we've had the Chiefs are usually one of the favorites up there all the time. The Bills have kind of been in
Hmm.
that running, but just haven't actually done it. And then the Patriots had their dynastic run, so it's exciting. It's going to have an open AFC this year, so we're looking
Yeah.
forward to that. That wraps up our talk about the AFC. We're going to just quickly go into what's happening in the league this week, which is preseason week 1. We got some games coming up later this week that we're kind of looking forward to. We're just going to headline some of these games that are happening, mostly because of the quarterback battles that are still going on. So we're just going to kind of touch on those. Get some graphics for you. The Browns love giving out their graphics, so we're going to share their graphics with you guys quick. But just some games to watch. The number one game to watch, I shouldn't say it's not number one, but our first game to watch this weekend will be the Packers versus Steelers on August 13th. And we're just excited about this game because it's just historic. Like, there's two historic franchises, and now we have Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy playing against their former team, Jordan Love going to Pittsburgh, seeing his predecessor again. So obviously none of these guys are probably going to play in this game, but it's just kind of a cool game that's coming up. Two really awesome franchises, historic franchises, that I'm just kind of
And
looking forward to. Just kind of,
that's.
what's that?
Oh, sorry, you keep going.
I was just gonna say it. I'm just excited to like tune in to like the first like pregame, the first quarter, kind of see all the interactions with everybody. I think that'll be kind of fun. But other than that, anything to add for this game, Taylor?
No, I was going to say that's just the first one on the schedule this week, coming up on Thursday at 6 o'clock, and it's going to be on NFL Network, so easy to watch along live to check out the first game of the preseason week one, technically. So,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, you said it perfectly. I
Yeah.
always love when the Rodgers and Love can chat it up a little bit. It's always fun
Mm-hmm.
watching that interaction. So, for sure.
Because Aaron, he's such an awful teammate. Guys just don't want to talk to him after they see him when he leaves the team. But I
Hot take.
just love the narratives out there for some players, some guys, that just end up being proven wrong all the time. But yeah, I'm excited for that game just because of we follow the Packers. Obviously, we're big Packer fans, but also seeing the Steelers as well. We've been following the Steelers quite a bit too. I know Taylor used to love watching the Steelers. When we were in high school, that was one of his favorite teams to watch too, with Big
Hmm.
Ben and all those guys too. So
Troy
we're
Polamalu and
oh
James
yeah,
Harrison on defense. Those are fun defenses to watch
yeah,
back in the day.
yeah. So like we've been following those two teams for a long time. Follow even more now with Rodgers being there. Now McCarthy's there, so I'm sure we're going to continue to follow them. So we're just looking forward to that matchup. But other games to watch this week, we have the Cardinals Raiders, same day. It's also on August 13th, this Thursday. Um, I think the most exciting part of this is we should see Carson Beck playing again. It's going to be Beck versus Mendoza. Hopefully he should be out there as well, getting some reps. Hopefully getting a lot of reps so we can see those two compete. If you recall, these are two starting quarterbacks for the national championship game last year. So this is an exciting little rematch. I know it's preseason. It's not doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think for these two guys, it's going to be fun for them to go out there and just compete. They're still trying to prove themselves in this league. So I think it's going to be fun to watch. What's your takeaway a little bit in this, Taylor? We got Cardinals Raiders.
Have the Raiders said Mendoza's going to start?
I haven't heard anything. I'm just
I'd
expecting
imagine.
he's going to get a lot of
Yeah.
reps. Maybe Cousins comes in and gets a little bit like the first drive, maybe or two. But yeah, like they're pretty set on Cousins, so I'm assuming Mendoza is going to be in there. But yeah, I think this could be a really fun matchup. It's just one that I wanted to
Yeah.
headline because Beck versus Mendoza again, which would be
Yeah.
really cool. And Carson Beck was slinging that thing last week. So
But yeah. I was just curious because I didn't hear that officially yet or not, but it makes sense that he would get the start. But my biggest takeaway is taking the Cardinals plus 110 as the underdogs with Carson Beck looking good last week. So
oh yeah, let's
uh,
go.
it's a few preseason bets I will make because that'll be a good one too. With, as you said, the rookie quarterbacks, and it's always fun to watch that. But yeah, it'll be see if Beck can keep it up and play good again for 2 weeks in a row. And
Yeah,
yeah, excited to see what Mendoza can do. And yeah, I agree with
awesome.
what you said.
Yeah,
But
should be a fun
and
night.
and two first-year head coaches as well with McDonald and uh,
Mm-hmm.
LaFleur.
Yeah, let's see what else we got in here. We have this is the one we're gonna get into. Let's get
Mm,
into this one last. we're gonna talk Browns Bears in a second here, but we have a lot of charts to kind of show up for the Browns. So we're gonna talk about Panthers Bills, and I think the only highlight for the Panthers Bills game, that's August 15th, but it's Saturday. Um, Haynes King, we should be able to watch Haynes King ball out
yeah,
again, kind of see what he's got. He's just kind of a fun guy to watch. He runs around, lowers his shoulder. He's a big physical dude playing quarterback and not afraid to just kind of throw his head in there and be a football guy. So that'll be interesting. like we mentioned before, ACC Player of the Year last year. So anytime you can see somebody like that pop up in preseason, it's usually pretty fun to watch. Anything else to add for that Panthers Bills game, T?
Yeah, it's hard to add much to these preseason games, so I really don't have a whole lot, but I'm sure Josh Allen will not be playing. But it's again another first-time head coach making his coaching debut with Joe Brady.
Yeah,
It's always
yeah,
some
that's true.
some kind of storyline to follow along with.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Kind of see how he moves on the sideline, you know. But
Yeah,
like you said, there's just not much to see other than like these young guys that you're not sure if they're going to start or not this year. Just kind of fighting for spots. But yeah, it's Haynes King. See him ball out once again. Another game we have on Saturday, August 15th, is the Vikings versus Giants. And the only big storyline here is to see we haven't heard much about Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy, so we're kind of curious to see who's getting the reps in this first preseason game. Kind of see what's going on there. So yeah, I want to see this QB battle because it seems like they're kind of keeping everything close to the chest and not sharing too much on what's happening.
yeah,
So haven't seen many videos. Most teams are posting videos in training camp season trying to get people excited. Just haven't really seen that with the Vikings. So I don't know. What's your
yeah.
take on this?
I've heard mixed reviews on the quarterback play so far, where Kyler has a good day or a good drive, and then JJ McCarthy will have a good day and good couple reps and stuff like that. So I think this is truly probably the most open quarterback competition we have right now. In my opinion, I think it's a lot more open than the Browns competition, as we'll get into later or next. But yeah, I think Kyler will get the start for this first week just because he's the veteran and new to the offense, so he probably needs a couple more reps. But I know Kevin O'Connell hasn't announced yet, as people are waiting to see what he says. But he has till Saturday, so I'm sure he'll wait till like Thursday or Friday to say who will be the starter. But
Yeah,
it's definitely be a fun battle to watch, as I think both quarterbacks could be pretty
yeah,
pretty good quarterbacks in that offense and keep the Vikings competitive. So.
yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens. Anything on the Giants side? Do you think we'll see? You think Dart will get any reps or anything like that?
Uh, I don't think week one. I think he'll probably wait till week two or three to give him a couple of possessions. But
Yeah,
he showed a lot his rookie year, so I think they're not too worried about what
true.
he's got. And
Yeah,
Neighbors still coming back from injury, and Scatterboo, all these guys are coming back from injuries.
yeah,
So, but Harbaugh making his New York debut, so
yeah.
not
That's
a
gonna be
first year head coach, but at least his New York debut.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see just how that team runs with him there. I think
Hmm.
like we saw him with the Ravens, like that team, no matter who was playing for that team, it just was like the same system, same team every time you watch. So we'll see. We'll see what this Giants team, new look Giants, look like. Not going to get too much out of the preseason game, but yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see Harbaugh in that Giants blue. But
It'll be weird to see that for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's been with the Ravens most of our life, so
Yeah,
going
like
to see this
18
will be
years, I think. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that'll be interesting to watch. But the big thing is that quarterback battle. We'll see what happens with McCarthy and Murray. Um, the last game we're going to touch on is the Browns versus the Bears, and the big talk here.
the Bears.
No, we're not talking about Caleb Williams. No, we're not talking about anything with the Bears. This is a anti-Bears podcast. Other than we're going to be talking, we'll be talking some sauce about the Bears this year, but we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, and these guys. We've been seeing some stats coming out, and ESPN Cleveland continues to post how these guys are doing in practice. We're kind of seeing the first graphic we showed. It was very tight. Like the Watson and Sanders are both getting seemed like first team reps, and it was very equal. It's changed a decent amount. So pop up this first one. This is from last week, August 5th. So we're gonna have 3 of these to pop up. But on this graphic, this one was a huge difference than the first graphic that we pulled up because Deshaun Watson threw for 17. He threw 17 for 20. So only 3 incompletions, and he threw 7 touchdowns in practice the other day. And if you remember the first graphic we popped up on the last episode, I think there was 2 total touchdowns thrown amongst all their quarterbacks. 4 quarterbacks that got reps, 2 touchdowns thrown. And Watson just
Yeah,
went out and threw 7 in this practice. comparing him to Shadur Sanders. Shadur threw for 11 for 16, and then he threw 2 touchdowns and had 1 interception. So drastic difference in the touchdown department. A little bit more reps for Watson, it seems, in the past game. But yeah, he threw 7 touchdowns on 17 completions. That's very impressive. Any other takes on this, Taylor? Looking at this graphic,
It looks like Taylor Green is out of the quarterback competition.
Taylor Green had 0 passing attempts in practice. So
I did
he,
say he'd be better as a wide receiver, probably. So maybe that's in his future coming up.
yeah,
But
we're hoping he can get some reps somewhere. Not at quarterback. That's
yeah,
not happening.
yeah. Watson just has some good positive momentum. It seems like, and
Yeah,
as you'll show in the next couple graphics as well. But
yeah.
yeah, not much
And
else
then
to add. You broke it down really good there.
yeah. So other than that, Dylan Gabriel went 4 for 6, and he threw 2 touchdowns. So
Yeah,
not
kept
many
forgetting him.
reps.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, but maybe he just had some like goal line situation, red zone situations that he's throwing 2 touchdowns for 4 completions. Who knows?
Playing against a third string defense.
Yeah, that too. he's just he's just kind of there, not getting as many reps as the other 2 guys. So it's definitely down to 2 guys. Um, we have another graphic for 3 days later in camp, and on this one, Gabriel did have some more attempts. In this one, he threw 5 for 12, no touchdowns, no picks. Deshaun Watson threw 23 for 34, so he got a lot of passing attempts. Threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sanders was 16 for 20, no touchdowns, no picks. So kind of similar to the last one. Like Sanders, he has a lot of completions compared to incompletions. Like he seems like he's being accurate with the ball, but not doing much. Like he's not throwing many touchdowns. He's not really throwing any interceptions either. So I don't know if he's just being real cautious with the ball. What's your take on this? Going 3 days later after Watson threw 7 touchdowns.
You didn't give me a Taylor Green update. Is he still 0 for 0?
Yeah, Stan Green still not getting reps at quarterback. Maybe he's a
Oh,
receiver now.
anyway, sorry, that's my biggest takeaway. Sorry, I keep forgetting about that. But yeah, as I said earlier, it just seems like Watson's got that good momentum going right now. He's getting some good numbers and a lot of reps. 34 attempts compared to Sanders 20. That's a pretty big difference. So
Mm-hmm.
again, we don't know the exact breakdown, and I know they're switching between first and second team reps and so on and so forth. But Watson's getting some good run as quarterback, and he's put up some good solid numbers.
Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah. Just looking at that, it looks like Watson had a lot more first team reps these last 2 practices. And if he's throwing 4 touchdowns and then 7 touchdowns, getting first team reps, that's pretty impressive. Like those
And no
corners are very solid.
interceptions.
Yeah, like those corners are very solid on defense for Cleveland. So just seeing that, ESPN Cleveland, I don't know why you got to do Taylor Green like this. Just throwing him on this graphic when he's not even getting attempts. We don't need to be doing that. But maybe if he has some receptions or some rushes, we could throw those on there. But let's check out the last last graph. There he is again. We got it.
Whoa, what a
Taylor Green
shock.
has not no attempts once again. Can we just take this guy off the graphic? ESPN Cleveland.
Poor
My
guy, poor
goodness.
guy.
But anyway, this is from August 10th, today. Um, we have a little update. Taylor, you want to talk about this a little bit? There's quite a change, it seems like, from last week. Like
Yeah,
last week, it seemed like Watson had a lot of reps, and this week seems a little different.
I think from the tweet from ESPN Cleveland mentioned that Sanders got more of the first team reps today, and he showed out pretty well. 16 of 23 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions for him. Watson was 15 of 22 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. And Dylan Gabriel was 5 of 8 with no touchdowns and no interceptions. And Taylor Green, 0 for 0 with no touchdowns or no interceptions. But back to the top two, the ones that people care about, is that yeah, it's a good day for Sanders for sure. Like that's some good good showing for him and Watson. They're very similar numbers. Like just the one
Mm-hmm.
touchdown difference is the main thing, and that may be that one less attempt that Watson had. He maybe could have the exact same numbers if they gave Watson one more rep.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish you could see like more yardage wise or like where these plays were taking place and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But that's all stuff we don't know. We're just glad we have some numbers to see what the battle is looking like. But
Mm-hmm.
what about you? Any big takeaway from that?
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of just keeping people interested in this battle, kind of showing what's going on in practice. Um, you don't know if this is 7-on-7, if this is full 11-on-11, like what
Yeah,
this is, like 2-minute drill, like all these different types of drills that they could be doing this in. But yeah, I think it's, I don't know if they just went with, hey, Watson's our guy last week, like he was getting all the first team reps. Now this week they're treating it as Sanders is the number one guy this week. So just kind of they're feeling it out. It seems like they're taking their time with this. I think it's going to be interesting for the preseason game to see what happens, who's starting, who gets more reps, and all that. I don't know if, like, I'm assuming Gabriel's going to get some in the fourth quarter possibly, but other than that, I
yeah,
think it's just going to split. Like, I think Sanders and Watson are just going to split and get equal amount of drives possibly to see what they can do. But yeah, it's
yeah. I'm
interesting.
excited to see who they announce to be the starting quarterback for Saturday. But again, not till Saturday, so we probably have to make it through Thursday, Friday, if not even till
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning to hear who will be the starting quarterback. But I'm
Yeah,
definitely very curious to see what happens.
yeah. Other than that, like, we're gonna have some actual stats from the game, so we can get yards and all that good stuff in there.
Yeah,
Um, we'll just see kind of, and we'll actually get to kind of watch these guys play and see what they look like. So stats can tell you a lot of things, but actually seeing it with your eyes and seeing them play is a completely different ball game. So we'll see. I'm excited to see this quarterback battle. I'm just glad that we have something to talk about here in preseason. We have a quarterback battle and we have stats to talk about, and just to kind of push any narrative that we want for which quarterback we think is doing better. So yeah, it's interesting.
football.
Other than that, this is a long, long show today, getting into all the AFC talk, quarterback battles. Hoping you guys can enjoy some preseason football this weekend. We got it starting up on Thursday. I think
Any
is it third?
preseason bets this week?
Ooh, I don't know.
Browns
You
minus
got any?
1.5.
Who was that?
Browns minus 1.5. I think they're going to have the best quarterback play going on in that game. So
True.
I can see that one being a good one. So
And you get to bet
my
against the Bears, so that's a good bet.
my two picks that I don't recommend because it's preseason would be the Browns, and then what I said earlier was the Cardinals. Yeah, that's right, because Carson Beck getting some more runs. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick with the promising quarterback play that I know is going to be happening. So,
Yeah,
but
there you
just
go.
quick hitters
All you
there.
all you betters, get out there, hit home. Whoever the best quarterback is on that field, make sure he's going to get more than one quarter in the game. But bet responsibly as well. I don't throw that out there enough. Make sure you guys are not being irresponsible with these bets. If you got a gambling addiction, please call the hotline, get that figured out. But if you're just
For
a
sure.
chill person, just having fun with it, makes you more interested in the game, feel free. Go out there, throw some bets down, have a little fun with it. Makes the games a little more exciting to get to cheer for somebody. But take Taylor's picks. He wins more than I do, so he's the guy. He's the guy to go to for these.
Not always,
But
but
can't win them all. You're not going to get rich off sports gambling, but
so far cleats to courts is 2-0. So let's roll.
exactly. So if you want to be right every time, just follow us, follow our bets. We'll get you right, get you set up.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you all for listening. Please like, comment, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening to this on. If you're on YouTube, what's up, YouTube? Give us a subscriber on there. Hit the notification button so you can get all the updates on when our videos come up. We're also posting shorts and reels and all that good stuff. Just little clips inside our episodes. And just trying to give you guys the best sports show that you can possibly listen to. Trying to get as much information out there as possible. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe, follow us. We appreciate all the support. We got some more news coming up next week. We will be in touch. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.
See ya.